purpose is for us to release ourselves and say, I will do the work of God. Whichever way he lead me, I will go. Whatever he asks me to do, I will do. His commandment, I will keep. I was reading Deuteronomy chapter 28 this today, and I was very, very afraid of God reading it. If you read Deuteronomy chapter 28, and I don't know if it is Leviticus chapter 19 or so, Deuteronomy chapter 28, it might be Leviticus chapter 19. If you read Deuteronomy chapter 28, you will see the reason why the little men and everybody that preach the commandments of God, you will see why we are preaching the commandments of God. It will be totally clear unto you. Because some people will say, why is this that this woman continue to talk about commandment? Why is it that this woman continue to talk about law? Why is it that? But when you read Leviticus chapter 19 or Deuteronomy chapter 28, don't read the blessings alone, because the blessings start from verse 1 to verse 14. But the curses, read curses, started from verse 15 to verse 68. And for all of you that wants the blessing of Israel, all of you that wants any blessings and all the blessings, you want pastors and priests and everybody to proclaim blessings for you. You want to be rich. You want to be happy. You want to have every good thing on earth. I have only one chapter for you, and that is Exodus chapter 20. If you want to understand it real good, read Leviticus chapter 17, 18, 19, 20. Read those chapters. And you can read chapter 21 too. Read those chapters. And then you decide whether you want to be blessed or you want not to be blessed. And to crown it, then you go to this Leviticus Deuteronomy chapter 28 or Leviticus chapter 19 that you already read. But the Deuteronomy chapter 28, then you read all those. Don't stop on the way. Read from verse 1 to verse 68. And then you can choose if you want to be blessed or not. Because God himself has said it. I have only one law. I have the same law for the children of Israel and for all the people that are created. I have the same blessings for them. And in Deuteronomy chapter 28 is telling you that those who listen to my words and do it, who keep my commandments and walk my way and answer my call, as I speak to them, as I speak my words and wrote it down for all of you, as I said Moses to speak my words and write it down for you. If you choose to worship me and do my will, you will be blessed. But if you choose to turn away from me and to be your own people without keeping my commandments, these are the causes. And there are so many. Just think about it. verse 15 to 68. But those short blessings from verse 1 to verse 14 covers all our life and override all the causes that can rise up in our life. As God is calling Moses, God is telling Moses, I created you. You have to do my will. You cannot turn away from me. I am the one that created you and give you my words. You have to speak my word. You have to live the way I ask you to live. And this my errand, you have to do it. I created you for that purpose. And Moses have no way, no words to say anymore. So he finished the conversation with God, which we don't know the rest of them. And he returned home. He went to Jethro, his father-in-law, and told him, I have to go to my people. I have to go to my people. He told Jethro, that priest of Midian, I have to go to my people and see them. Verse 19. Let's read verse 18 again. And Moses went and returned to Jethro, his father-in-law, and said unto him, Let me go, I pray thee, and return unto my brethren, which are in Egypt, and see whether they be yet alive. And Jethro said to Moses, Go in peace. Verse 19, and the Lord said unto Moses in Midian. Midian is the place where Moses ran to that I said, I forgot the name. Where he met Jethro's daughters at the well. And Jethro said, Why do you leave that man that helped you today behind? Go and call him. That good man that helped you, go and call him and bring him. Let him come and eat bread with us. And that is how Moses ended up with Jethro and married Jethro's first child, first daughter, Zipporah. Verse 19, and the Lord said unto Moses in Midian, Go, return to Egypt, for all the men are dead which sought thy life. That includes Pharaoh, the Pharaoh of those days that wants to kill him. He said, it's like God say, I know your fear. I know you are afraid that they're going to kill you. But those people who wants to kill you, they are already dead. They are no more. You are free to do my will. You are free to do my work. God encouraging him. Those who are starting to kill you are gone. They are dead. So nobody is in Egypt or in the palace of Egypt that is going to kill you anymore. So God just totally make his fear plain to him and said, this is your fear. This is what you are afraid of. But many of us are afraid of all kinds of things. When God say, do something, we are afraid. God is telling us, don't be afraid. I know yesterday of your life. I know today of your life. And I am the one that prepared tomorrow of your life. Just do my will. Just keep my commandments. And live for me. And everything else will be taken care of. Like I said, all of you that wants blessings, keep God's commandments and everything will be added to you. Just keep God's commandments. That Exodus chapter 20, chapter 19, and the book of Leviticus, where he gives you all his laws to keep. Keep them. And everything else that will make your life happy, joyful, perfect. God, he promised it. He said he will add them to your life. So Moses finally surrendered. Went to Jethro, his father-in-law, and told him, I must go home. And his father-in-law, who knew how important, because he's a priest, how important it is for Moses to answer the call of God, said, go in peace. And Moses took his wife and his sons, Gershom, and the other son, and he returned to the land of Egypt. And Moses took the rod of God in his hand. Now the rod is no more Moses' rod of shepherd or the shepherd rod anymore. He's now the rod of God, the rod of power. So Moses took his wife and his 2 children and went his way to Egypt. Verse 21. And the Lord said unto Moses, when thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thy hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go. Now you have to know, before when I read the book, all these stories of Moses and Egypt, I always think it's only one Pharaoh. But it's not one Pharaoh, it's 2 Pharaoh. The Pharaoh that raised Moses up, whose daughter raised Moses up under the Pharaoh, is the one that is looking to kill Moses because of what Moses, the child that Moses killed. He and his people are the one, is like either the Pharaoh himself wants to kill that child because he is the one that ordered all the little children to be killed, all the little sons of the children of Israel to be killed, because he's afraid of the children of Israel. He's afraid of their bravery. He's afraid of their strength. He's afraid of their God. Because he sees that God continue to bless them. And the power of God continue to work in their life. And he is afraid. And when he doesn't know what he said he can do, he told that big lie and said, I'm afraid of them. Because if people from all other country come to fight against us, the children of Israel will join them and they will destroy us. So let's put them under slavery and depress them and suffer them and humble their hearts so that they will not fight against us. He's afraid of the God of the Israelites. That is why he decided he's going to be killing the children of Israel. And this son that God put against him, Moses, God made him to raise that son up. And because God put his daughter in between him and Moses, he could not kill Moses. was forced to love Moses, either he likes it or not. He is the one that raised Moses. And when Moses killed that man, that young man that was fighting another man from the family of the Israelites, he think that this will be my reason for killing Moses. I've never liked him. I've never want him to live. He has stood as a judge in my palace, because Moses stood as a judge in his palace. You who kill all other little children, you allow this little boy called Moses to live under you. Moses had been a judge against his heart, living under him. And when God said the time is right, and started to walk in Moses, letting Moses know whom he belonged to, this man find a reason to finally kill him. So when Moses ran out of Egypt, he was unable to kill Moses. We don't know how many days are the days of that Pharaoh. But both the Pharaoh and those who are judging the Pharaoh for letting Moses live and are saying, you let one of them live. Now he killed our son. God said, they are all dead. They are all gone. We don't know how old they are. The judgment of this world belongs to God. It doesn't belong to any pharaoh or any king or any prince of power. The judgment of this world belongs to God. And he does judge from heaven. And he does judge in equity. He judges in righteousness. So when things are happening in the world, don't think it's my power. It's not your power. It's not your power at all. And all that Pharaoh did to the children of Israel, God is going to require it of all the children of Egypt when the time comes. All those little children that they kill, God is going to revenge for the children of Israel. So God is at work, working and ruling planet Earth today and for tomorrow and forever. It's not God of yesterday. The Lord God Almighty is God of yesterday, God of today, and God of tomorrow. And he sees each and every one of us from our heart. He knows us individually. He knows what we are thinking, what we are doing, why we are doing what we are doing. You see, Moses did not tell God, I killed one of the children of Egypt. That is why I ran out. But God knew all those stories. God knew everything about Moses before Moses was born. Before you were born, before I was born, the Lord who created us knows us all. And he has purpose for each and every one of us. He has his reason for creating us. So God explained to Moses, I know you were afraid. Those people whom you were afraid of, they are all gone. They are all dead. Now get up. Take your rod, that is my rod in your hand, and come and do my work. And at that particular time, I knew, I don't know how old or how long he had been a Pharaoh, but a different Pharaoh is now the king of Egypt. So, two kings participated in the life of the children of Israel. We don't even know whether there are many kings, because 400 years passed. The children of Israel were in Egypt for 400 years. So for that 400 years, you can think of it and say, there is no one king that ruled for 100 years complete. So you know there were many kings, many pharaohs in between the king that wanted to kill Moses and the king that is there when God come to take his children out of Egypt. The first king manifest the work of God, because God said the children of Israel will become slaves and they will suffer under that Pharaoh. And God carried that promise out. This king, God is telling Moses, I'm going to harden his heart. I set him up for that purpose. You see? All over the world, the people who rule the nations and rule the cities and rule the kingdoms, they think they are the ruler. They think they have the power. They think they have the people that will help them. They think they are the head. But they are just working for God. God raised them up to work for him, either for the nation or against the nation. God raised them up either for the city or state, or against the city or against the state. God raised them up, whether they are king or prince or pastors or we have what do we have? Presidents. Whether you are president or king or prince or a leader, it doesn't even matter what leader you are. You are raised up to work for God. And God is going to use you either for the people or against the people. It all depends on whether the people are doing the will of God or they are not. It all depends on whether the nation, the city or states, villages, or the workplace, or the church, even the individual family. It depends on whether they are keeping the commandments of God or not. You see? That commandment is between us and God. And by it, God made his judgment on earth. So whatever position God gives you on earth, you might be an ordinary person working in a workplace, in an office. And God will use you for his purpose in that office. It depends on whether you are for God or you are against God. Are you for God and you know you are for God when you are keeping the commandments of God? And you know you are against God when you don't keep the commandments of God? This Pharaoh, this is the second Pharaoh that God used and we read about. Now, all the kings, all the pharaohs, from the first Pharaoh that turned the children of Israel from their liberty to slavery, from that king, throughout all the other kings, because all of those other kings should have said, these are people the children of Israel, they should have set them free. They should have given them equal liberty like every other Egyptians and every other people. But they did not. Instead, they keep up the work of that first Pharaoh in depressing and dishonoring and enslaving the children of Israel. So they all participated in this work of God because it's God that put the children of Israel under slavery, under these pharaohs. But these two kings, the first one and the last one, because this one that Moses is going to face is going to be the last one that we have to anything to deal with, the children of Israel. This Pharaoh is going to face God. This Pharaoh is going to know the real God of Israel. This Pharaoh is going to know the God that says, I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This Pharaoh is going to know whom he is. Verse 21. And the Lord said unto Moses, when thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thy hand, that I will harden his heart. I will harden his heart. So the fight is not of the Pharaoh. Can you believe that? It's God that is working. The fight is not that of the Pharaoh. He is a vessel. God is just using him. He has no power over his life. Sometimes you have a king or a president or a prince ruling somewhere, or somebody, a leader ruling a nation. And some will do all kind of things, and the nation will be at peace. And some of them will do all kind of things, and the nation will be at chaos. And then we say, why is the elders of the city, of the nations, of the workplace, why are they not talking to him or to her? And then we say, we try, it's just not listening to us. I want you to understand it. God raised them up, all these leaders you see, in places of authority, wherever they are on planet Earth. God raised them up for a purpose, either to lift their nation or their people up, or to bring them down. God raised them up either for or against. It all depends on all of us, individual people that live in those nations. Are we doing the will of God? Are we keeping the commandments of God? Are we listening to all the orders of God? Is that chapter 28 of Deuteronomy? Is it clear to us? Are we following it? Are we listening to Leviticus chapter 17, 18, 19, 20? Are we listening to Exodus chapter 19 and 20? Are we listening to God's in Exodus chapter 21? Are we doing what God asks us to do? Or are are we going against God? Because if we are doing what God asks us to do, if we look at Exodus chapter 20 and we look at all these Leviticus chapters, 18, 19, 17, 20, 21, and we look at it and we say, I fear God. And we look at Deuteronomy 28 and we say, I fear God. I'm going to keep the commandments of God. I am going to do the will of God. And all the people of the world, we choose to do the will of God. We will have joy. God will lift up a righteous man to lead us through the journey of life as a king, as a president, as a priest, as a leader in workplaces, as father and mother. Because the work of father and mother is even more than that of the president. Can you believe it? The work of father and mother, their position is higher than the position of the president or the king. Because if they don't raise that child up according to the commandments of God, the king or the priest or the pastors or the president cannot rule over them. They can only rule over the children that the parents raise upright. That is why the world is a delicate egg. And we must carry it with care. That is so that it will not fall down and break into pieces. Because a fresh egg that breaks into pieces, you cannot gather it together anymore. It starts with the parents. That is why God put the parents in Exodus chapter 20 and said, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long on earth, as God had given it to you. And the parents have to make sure that they raise these children according to the commandments of God, so that they will not be judged for the action of their children. And when the parents raise these children up all over the world, when we parents raise all the children up according to the will of God, the nations will be at peace. We will love each other. We will be doing what God required of us. Because we will all have the fear of God and His commandments will live in us. And we know the repercussion of curses. And we know the goodness of blessings. Because no matter how powerful you can be as a human being, you cannot rule over the people that refuse the commandments of God. But if you are blind and dumb and deaf, you can rule over the people that keep the commandments of God. Because the work is not yours. The work belongs to God. That is why the work of the parents is very important. Raising us, every one of us, their children up according to the will of God. I know some parents raise their children up correctly, and when the children get out, they become something else. But God said if you raise them up according to His will, wherever they go, whatever they want to become, one day He will remind them. Their conscience, their spirit, the Spirit of God in them will remind them. This is the way that your parents raise you. This is what God said and your parents told you. This is what God said and your parents read it to you. This is what God said and your parents make you to read it back to him or to her. God will return them. Yes, God knows the devil is out there doing all his work. But if you raise your children according to the commandments of God, if you take this book called the Book of Law, the words of God, and you put it down in your house as a father and a mother, and you put it down and you open it, and you read it to your children, and you let your children read it to you, day by day, when they leave your house, you will have more peace. The causes and the repercussion of sin will not come to your head. Take Deuteronomy 28 and read it over and over and over from 1 to 68. Let it etch itself into your body so that it can guide you. And I'm reading them so that it can guide me. This Pharaoh, God said, I will harden his heart. I will harden his heart. You say, why will God harden the heart of this Pharaoh? And why is it that God is going to continue to put these children of Israel in all this depression state? God hardened all these Pharaoh's heart from the first one to the last one, so that these children that he created to be an example for the whole world, so that they will perform his work. God raised them up for that purpose. God raised them up to be an example for the whole world, to tell the whole world that I created planet Earth for myself, and I created planet Earth for my dwelling place. I created all the people for myself, and I promise I'm going to come and dwell with them. Day by day I come to planet Earth to dwell with them. Day by day I come to speak to them. Day by day I walk in between them. Planet Earth is my dwelling place. It's not just my resting place for my foot. I actually walk in it. And I am the God who created planet Earth, and I am the God who rule over planet Earth. And I am the God who judge planet Earth and all his people. And my law they must keep, and my will they must do. And there is no other God but me. And because Egypt raised up other God against God, because Egypt raised up other idols of all kind, including goat and sheep as their God, including Nile, the river that God created for himself and for the people to drink and bath in and enjoy planet Earth. Because Egypt and all these seven, because there are seven, I know they will call six sometimes, those seven nations of Canaan, because they refused God and they decided they're going to worship sun, they're going to worship moon, they're going to worship star, and they're going to create all kinds of idols for themselves. And as their children are growing up, they touch them or teach them, because they still do it. They taught them to worship idols, to worship sun, to worship the rivers, to worship snakes, to worship all kind of what they created with their hands. am a jealous God, and I will revenge for myself. And God decided, I'm going to stand against them and walk against them until I let them know that He, the Lord God, is God. And that is why God created, I will say, created the children of Israel for Himself. And when you look at the children of Israel, they are actually of one father and the same, or one father, many mothers, but one father. They are one family. Children of Abraham, children of Isaac or Isaac, children of Jacob or Jacob. And Leah and Rebecca and all of those wives, they are all the same father and the same mother, cousins. So it's one family that God said, I'm going to raise this family up. Apart from those children that come from those slaves, the Egyptian slaves. And the other two slaves of Jacob's wife, Leah and her sister. God raised them up from one family to judge the world, to stand in front of the world and say, this is what God said. And that is what we will do to have peace. God purposely raised that family up for Himself to judge planet Earth, to guide planet Earth, to lead planet Earth in the way that is right before Him, because He is the Creator. And He is making it clear to all of us, there is no other God. I am the Lord your God. It's not just saying it to the children of Israel. He is the Lord our God, all of us people that live on planet Earth. Until you can prove that another God created this planet, the only one God that created this planet and proved that He created this planet stand forever. And He is ruling this planet called planet Earth. And He is ruling over each and every one of us as individuals. God said, I will harden His heart, that He shall not let the people go. Because God wants him to know that He is God. God said, I created these pharaohs for myself. He hardened their heart to enslave the children of Israel. Because Abraham have that little doubt. When? How am I going to be the owner of this planet? These people? 6, 7 nations? I, the little one, me? And when is that child going to come? Are you really going to give me this child? What is the sign? That sign is what you see the children of Israel performing. The sign that Abraham asked for. God said, this is the sign. You will have the children, and I will send them to slavery, and then I will take them out of slavery. And when I will send kings over them that will punish them and enslave them. And when I will take them out of that slavery, I will make sure that I glorify myself and glorify my children Israel for the work they have done in Egypt. And then I will take them with all the blessings that they work for. I will take them with all the blessings of Egypt that I gave to them for them to use to worship me, and they are using it to worship idols, and they are using it to worship river and goat and cow and worship what they created. All the blessings, gold and silver, all those beautiful clothes and all those good things that I gave to them to enjoy while they worshiping the God who created them and who created all those things. Those beautiful clothes they put on and go and worship idols, they're supposed to put it on and come and worship me. I created the sun and the moon. I created the stars and all the solar system that are up there. There's no moon day or sun day. I created the sun and the moon and everything else. Your God and your river did not create them. Neither does your sun created itself. Neither does your moon created itself. The stars did not create themselves. God said he created them. And so God told Abraham, I will show you a sign. And your sign is that you will have those children. They will go into slavery under these kings, sets of kings that we had in their hearts. And then we enslave them. And when the time comes, I will take your children out of that slavery. And I will shake those nations to the core of their heart. And they will know that the Lord God Almighty is God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of Israel. They will know. I will harden their hearts, and they will bow for me. Either they like it or not, or else they will perish. And that is what God did. He hardened their heart. He created them for that purpose. So when you see your leaders or your kings or your priests or your pastors or your presidents or your managers, and they are behaving in certain ways, look into the Bible. And look at your surroundings and say, are we doing the will of God or not? Because if you are doing the will of God, there will be peace in all the four corners of the world. But if we are not doing the will of God, Deuteronomy 28 stand against all of or between us and God. Leviticus 19, I believe, stand between us and God. And so are all those Leviticus 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. They stand between us and God. We can choose to do the will of God and have peace on earth. And have peace in our family. And have peace in every nation of the world. And in every house. At every workplaces. We can choose to have peace by simply guide ourselves by the will of God. And don't look for sign. Some people will say, who is your God? Do you really want to know whom my God is? Do you really want to know whom the real God is? You don't want to, because when you know him, you will not have any doubt that God do live. So all this work is in God's hand. Giving Abraham sign. That's what I call it. He is giving Abraham that sign, and he's performing that sign. And he will perform that sign even unto the end of this planet Earth. For you and me, ours is to look at what God has done and say, I'm going to do the will of God and keep his commandment and let him guide me the way he wants me to go all the days of my life. I surrender my life unto him, the God who created heaven and earth, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who have proved himself to be the only living God. I'm going to keep his commandment, his statutes, his precepts, and his law and commandments. I'm going to follow it. I'm in ordinary soil. I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm going to continue to call on him to guide me in everything. To guide my ways, to guide my heart and my rein. To guide me in all things. Because I am ordinary soil, I cannot guide myself. Because if I can guide myself, I'll be able to control the thoughts of my head and the thought of my heart that is running itself, sometimes out of order. And I have to call it back and say, God said. Sometimes I have to call my heart or my brain. I don't know which is which that is running. When thoughts are coming into me, I have to say, oh wait, God said. And that is how we all need to be calling our heart back when it's running. Because when it is running, it can be the devil that is running through us. It can be the devil that is speaking to us. It can be the devil and his angels, or the devil or his angels that is putting thoughts in our heart. So we have to call ourselves back and say, listen to the words of God. Hear the commandments of God. Remember what God said. And check our heart and control our heart by the words of God. The only God that can control us. We have to call on him, on his words, on his power to help us rule this body and every forces that is working against it. God hardened the heart of Pharaoh. Now we go to verse 28. Verse 22. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus said the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And you say, is Israel the firstborn of God? Because out of Israel, God sent his firstborn to come and teach us his will, his statutes and his commandments, to come and remind us and re-establish it, that we may know what we are doing. His name is Jesus. He said, Israel is my firstborn. I have chosen them for myself, and out of them I will perform my work. Throughout generations, I will use them for myself. And forever and ever, they will rule for me over the angels and the people of the world. My son, Jesus Christ. Israel is my firstborn, my first son, excuse me. Yeah, he said, I read it again. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus said the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. That is, I have created Israel for me, to work for me, and my firstborn will come out of them. When Jesus said, Jesus put it this way, he said, he is the first creation of God. When Jesus was explaining who is Jesus, he's telling us, when you want to know who is Jesus, Take your Bible and read Revelation chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Who is Jesus? By the time you read the book of Revelation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and you get to 7, you will clearly know who Jesus is and why he come to this world. So God is telling Moses, Pharaoh will harden his heart. I will help him to harden his heart because he must perform my work. Because I need to clean up Egypt and tell Egypt I am God. Then I will send my sons, my son Israel. I will send them to all the land of Canaan and tell them I am God, and eradicate them and clean the land for myself, because I live in heaven and on earth. God did not just drop us here and leave us here. He said they thought I don't see them, but I see them because I live with them. I walk with them. I walk in their midst. God walks in our midst every day. So verse 22, I read it again, verse 23. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus said the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. I created Israel for myself to use them for my purpose. And my firstborn will come among them to come and reestablish my word to the earth, to the whole world. Because when he said Israel, Israel afraid of God and cling to the words of God and the commandments of God, and they don't want to go to the Gentiles. You see, when they first of all get into the midst of the Gentiles, the Canaanites, the Egyptians, the parasites and not parasite. I don't know how to call them. Oh. But where he first of all sent them to all this group of people that the Israelites refer to as the Gentiles, because they worship idols. They got there and they saw how they live. And quickly they forgot God. Instead of being the example that God purposely created them for, to the children, to the people of the land of Canaan, one by one, little by little, starting with the Moabites, they started to join the people of the land. So God have to chastise them by sending them into slavery. And you want to worship idols? Go out there and worship idols. And when they worship idol and get to the point that they realize our God is better, then God brought them back 70 years. And God sent Jesus Christ to come and re-establish his law. Because they started to think, the law, or we don't have to keep any law. God don't even see us. We can do what we like. But God said, I see you, and my law you must keep. So God sent his son among them. That is why that statement is said, Israel is my son, even the my firstborn, that is even my firstborn will come among them. My first creation will come among them to come and re-establish my love. Verse 23, and I say unto thee,